let's get started. Looks like we're going into the fantasy again. Imagine if Pranav did a ton of work studying the fantasy and then I just played the advanced card instead. Interesting. Not familiar with this move order, but don't I still have here, check, and then I take? Oh wait, hold on. But here, 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 take, and then my king takes. Is that better for me? I think I'm up a pawn after all that, right? I guess then he could take this. I guess this doesn't work actually. I think won't I be down a piece actually? Because I'm dropping the knight here. Yeah, I don't think this works. Whoops. I should have taken more time to actually calculate that. That's alright though. I have this check here, looks pretty strong. Okay, after he moves his king, where do I want to move my bishop? Oh, that's interesting. I was not expecting him to move the king there. Maybe I move the bishop here, actually? I should try and bring my knight over here as quickly as possible, somewhere. Maybe not that exact path, but maybe like, whoops, here, here, here. I guess that allows him to come here though. That's a good move. I don't really want to trade. I guess I'll move my bishop here. I'm expecting him to take. I'm pretty much just going to ignore it and try and get my knight over there. Let's push this pawn. Okay, where do I want to get my knight? I have two options. I can bring it here, or I can try and bring it, geez, I cannot draw arrows. I can try and bring it here and here, which gives a check, but then doesn't he just moves forward. I need to bring my last rook. That's the only way I'm going to checkmate him. If I bring it here, I'm exerting a bit more control on this square. I could play here, actually. That seems interesting. He wants to bring his knight here. I need to protect against that. And he's also hitting this twice. This is not looking good. I think I'm dropping this pawn because I can't protect this square and the pawn at the same time. All right, let's come here. I'm going to try and double up my rooks, or do something with my rooks. Maybe I should throw this pawn at him. He plays there anyways. That's interesting. So he's attacking this pawn and this pawn. I don't particularly care about this one. I don't want this one to die though. So I'm gonna play here. And then after he takes this, if that's what he decides to do, then I'm gonna bring my other rook over. And I'll be ready to attack as much as I'm able to, at least. I'm surprised he hasn't played here. There it is. I don't want to trade. I'm going to come here. In order to cover up. Maybe I can't double up my rooks yet because his knight is covering that square. So maybe I can play here to try and undermine his knight's defense. Okay. Let's go ahead and come here now. feel like he's just gonna come back here, yeah. Okay. So I have this check. And then let's suppose he takes. I could take here. And then he takes. And I take, and he takes, and then I take, and he's just up 2 knights versus a bishop, so that's no good. I don't think that I really have anything that I can do. I'll just bring the rook over here, I guess. Maybe I can play here and then try and take the pawn. Maybe I should try and go for this move, and then if his king takes, I don't think that that really gives me anything, honestly. Okay. I think this still doesn't allow me to play here. Because after takes, 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 he would have a rook and 2 knights versus a rook and a bishop, which is not really what I'm looking for. So I'm just going to drop this back. Try and take this pawn at some point. He might take this pawn. So I can take, and he takes, and I take. Wait, isn't that good for me? I feel like he messed something up. If I take, he takes, I take. And then he takes and I take. Aren't we just even again, basically? Should I take with the... I think I'd rather preserve the bishop. Maybe that was not right. But I don't have enough time to think about it for that long. Okay, so his advantage is down to these 2 pawns. And I'm threatening to take this one right now. We both have dark squared bishops. So I should try to play... I should try and play on the light squares with my king and my rook as much as possible. So another big advantage for me is that his king is cut off completely, which is always good. I can take this now and That should be fine. He can come here, but then I would take his bishop, so... He can't come there anyways because my king covers that. Now he can come there. I think it's probably best if I protect... I guess I can't protect any of these pawns. Not sure what to do. I'll come all the way down here. Alright. I'm going to try and play for time here. I'm going to play fast, even if I'm not always playing the correct move. And try and time him out. Maybe I should have gone over here. To try and prevent his king from moving forward. I should have played here to cut his king off. I think I'm pretty screwed here. He's only got 23 seconds left. This could work. Not sure what to do here. Let's just play here. I'm just gonna take this. Don't have time to think about it. Ah, fuck. He made me. Damn, I should have taken this pawn. I should have sacked the rook. That was a good game, though. Ah, I think Pranav looked this line up because I believe that is the best move. I'm gonna play here now, I guess. I don't think I want to take until he brings his knight out. And if he takes, then I'm going to recapture this way. Alright, now I'll come here. Interesting. This kind of prevents my normal idea of putting a knight here. If he pushes his pawn forward though, then my knight's coming over here, so that doesn't really accomplish much. I'm going to try and kick his knight out and then take this pawn. That's my idea. Bishop there. That's interesting. I don't think that prevents me from doing what I want to do, so let's just go here. His knight doesn't have many squares. I'm not sure which one he's going to go for. Alright, let's take this pawn. And if I ever need to defend the knight, I can just bring the other knight over. Or even play f5. And then bring the other knight over. So if I play here, and then he takes, I have to do something about this pawn. I could play here, and then he might take this and force me to move the rook, and then take this. If I play f5, he could play here. I don't know if I like weakening my king side that much. Also, if I play f5, he could trade. That would probably be good for me. If I play here, he can take, and then I take again, and he takes. That's no good. So let's go with f5. I can play rook b8. Puts my rook onto a decent square. I could also play e6, and then I'm threatening to take this knight. I could also play bishop g6, and then I'm again threatening to take the knight. Damn. I didn't see that fork. Alright. I will move my queen. I I guess I'll move it here. I'm going to take with the knight so I can reroute and attack this pawn. Okay. I can defend this with my bishop. And I can do that by either playing here or here. I'm not particularly huge fans of either. Playing here takes away that space for my knight, so I'm gonna go here. And this also maybe at some point opens a discovery on the bishop or the knight or the rook. If I play here and the knight captures, then I can capture here. And if he instead defends his knight, then I can capture there. That seems like something. If he moves his knight ahead of time, though, I don't think it works, because I could play here, and then he moves, and then I take, and he either takes this, or just recaptures. I guess he has to recapture, otherwise I'm taking his rook. Oh, but then he could take my rook. But then I would be able to take his other rook with check, so I don't think that works. Now that's an interesting move. I wonder what his idea is with that. I guess I have to recapture. I guess he just wants to ruin my pawn structure. That bishop is pretty important to his king safety though, so I don't know. I can still play here and try and win back the exchange. Interesting. Yeah, let's go ahead and try that. Not sure, not entirely sure it works, but let's give it a try. This rook has not moved at all the entire game. I need to do something with it. Okay. So he's decided to give back the exchange. I feel like he should have taken with the king, because now I have this, right? I mean, that pawn's not really going to get anywhere, but I may as well take. Alright, let me think here. I think I want to play my rook here. And try and win this pawn. So I'm up quite a bit of pawns, but my structure is really damaged. Like I've got these two doublings, these two doublings. I wasn't expecting that. Hopefully this doesn't lead to anything worse. Like mate. Guess I'm dropping this pawn. But then he would drop this one. I guess he's going to take this, and he's just saying that he's defending this pawn. If he takes this, then I can take this and defend this pawn also, though. And my queen is threatening to get in. Am I hanging anything terrible by doing this? I don't think so. Now I'm threatening to infiltrate here. Okay. Interesting. Gonna give this check. Do I want to give this check? I guess so. I still can't take this though, because now he's got 3 defenders and I've only got 3 attackers. Oh, but I could bring my queen here, and that doesn't really get me anything, unfortunately. I would at least have some sort of perpetual, maybe. But if I take, and he takes, I take, he takes, I take, he's just up at the end of that. That's just bad. I could try and push this pawn, and then if he takes, I can take this way. I'm just gonna go for that. I don't really know what to do here. My extra pawns were just too weak. He's gonna win them all back. I'd like to get my knight back into the game. He's been stuck back here. I took with the knight a long time ago to try and reroute him this way, and then I just never moved him. That's interesting. Let's go ahead and take. I think now I want to simplify down as much as possible. Like if I trade this pair of pieces, maybe. And try and use my... Oh, this would be bad. That's bad. Don't do that. That leads to mate. Or maybe it doesn't lead to mate, but... He's threatening this pawn too. And I still can't bring my knight out. That's so annoying. I'm just going to play h5 and make some space for my king. he plays here, I can try and pin the knight to the queen. I feel like that's probably not going to work, but I'll go for it anyways. Yeah, you can just take this and he's still defending the knight. Or he'll play there. That's interesting. I could play here, and if he takes, then I take. And that seems good, right? I'd be up a knight at the end of that. And I don't see anything super dangerous for him. Oh, but what about if I play here, he takes, I take, because it's check, and then he plays here, then he's just up in exchange. So I think I have to do this. And then that forces a queen trade. And now I'm just gonna put my rook behind this pawn and just shove it forward. Okay, maybe I'll put my rook behind this pawn and shove that one forward actually. Need to get my knight involved. Yeah, I was expecting that move. I don't really care about that pawn anymore though. Okay, what do I do here? I need to get my knight to a good square. Maybe I play here. Oh, no, take it. That was so dirty, that pre-move trick. I almost still lost too because I was so surprised that it actually worked that I couldn't take the rook. I'm just going to castle this time. I wonder if maybe I should take this pawn at some point. Or at least protect my pawn. I mean, I guess it already is protected by my queen. What do I want to do here? I could take, but then he just recaptures. And that doesn't really get me much. I guess I'll develop the bishop. Don't really know what to do in this line of this opening. Just attacking this pawn now. Let's go ahead and defend it with the knight. Now if I move my queen and then take, I've got a fork. See if he notices the fork. Those pawns have been there for a long time. I think this still works, and it's even stronger now, right? I mean, I guess he comes here, but then I just take one of either of these pieces, probably the bishop. I do need to be careful about my own bishop, which is hanging right now. He can take this pawn, but all of these other pieces, all of the other pieces, his queen will be hitting or defended. So he only gets that B pawn, which, you know, in the grand scheme of things is not that important. Especially B pawn for his bishop, I'll take that deal any day. Well, maybe I take the knight, actually, because then the bishop, if he recaptures that pawn, the bishop will still be hanging. Okay. Well, now if I take and he recaptures this way, the bishop is no longer hanging. I wonder, wait, hold on. If I take and he comes here, can I do the same thing again? Let's imagine he took, the queens are hitting each other, but I could capture the knight and my queen is defended. So I think I'm gonna go for that. It might not work, I might have calculated this wrong. And if he takes with the pawn, then that really weakens his king side, so that's good for me. I guess he has this. No, I'd take that. I could even take here if I wanted. No, I can't because his knight defends it. I have to take this way. I feel like this is pretty rare to get the pawn fork and then get it again. Okay, hold on. What do I want to recapture, and which way do I want to recapture? I could come here, whoops, here, and then take, and then his bishop will move away. I could take, and probably he comes here with the queen, and then I take. I could take, and then this bishop moves away. I think this is best, because if his bishop moves away, I still get a nice, you know. Oh, that was bad. No, we're fine, because my queen is defended. For a second I thought he had this, and then this, but that doesn't work because my queen is always defended. I do need to be careful about that. I just need to remember not to move my bishop off of this diagonal unless I have a check or, you know, something else. A check like this, actually. Do I play this check? I think yes. Hold on, let me think about it. I have plenty of time. So if I come here, he's obviously not, oh, he could block like this actually, because I can't take, or I could, it would be check, so I'm not dropping my queen. So I come here, he's obviously not blocking with his queen or his bishop. He can block with the pawn, but then I come here and pick up the bishop, so that doesn't work. I'll have to come here, in which case I play here, and I'm threatening mate, and I'm also hitting this bishop. The only thing he can do to stop the mate is if takes, and then I could win his bishop, but he'd win my bishop. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Let's come here. I think I'm gonna go with this. Lots of stuff to consider, but I think it's good. It might even be a good move to just play rook here first and prepare to get, you know, the attack going down this file. So that does nothing because it's still check. And so now this should win the bishop after the king moves. And the king has to come here. Oh, doesn't it? Because can't I just take? And now he has, I'm hitting his queen with my bishop, so he has to take this way. And then I take with the rook, and he doesn't have any back rank mate. So we should be fine to take this. His bishop's still hanging. Maybe I should have taken with the queen and just forced the queen trade because of things like this. Okay. Let's come here. He still doesn't have back rank mate ever, because this rook is guarding it. That's an interesting move. That allows me to get my bishop to safety. And he's attacking this pawn. Let's bring the bishop here, I suppose. And he can win that pawn, but I'll be up a piece, so I think that's fine. It's just, I just want to trade off the bishops, you know? Okay. Well, I can take, and he still doesn't have back rank mate. That seems probably like the best thing to do. Do I have a mate here? Check, he comes here, I come here. He's forced to go here, and then I come here, and maybe he blocks. I don't think that works for him. So check, his king is forced here. Then I have this check, king is forced here. Then I have, so I don't have this check because he takes and then I'm only up a piece, but I have this check and the king is forced here or here, or he has to block with his queen, so that, but I just take here, so that's no good. And after here or here, then I just have this, right? And he can't get out of mate. All right, that was a good game. I had one blunder and one missed win, apparently. I don't know if he's down for another game. Looks like we're playing one more. Play it a bit differently this time. Let's develop the bishop first, preventing this move that he played earlier in the game. Could play here and just give him the bishop pair. It's probably not advisable, but at our level I don't think it matters that much. So he's trying to prepare this. I can just block him from doing it by playing it myself. Then if he ever kicks my bishop away, then I have issues, so that's probably not advisable. Let's try and trade out his light squared bishop, actually. I like that idea. Let's get rid of that Catalan bishop. The pride of his position. Okay. Now I could still play here. I could just sack the bishop. That's definitely probably not advisable. I don't think I have enough pieces on this attack to deal with his defenses. Like takes, bring the queen in, and like then what? Or I'll just come back. Maybe I can try and play here. Maybe I sack the knight instead. If my queen was in front of the bishop, I think that would work really well, actually. My position feels a bit cramped. Not sure what to do. If I play here, then he's probably going to push this forward. He's definitely going to push this forward whether I do nothing or not. But actually that gives my knight this square, so maybe that's not as bad as it looks. I'm going to come here with the goal of bringing my knight around this way into this outpost. And he blocks me from doing that. Let's go ahead and play here. And then maybe rook b8. Try and shove this pawn forward. And then takes, and my knight is getting to that outpost again. Wow, it's amazing I can even set the pieces in the right place, given my arrow drawing skills. I literally tried to draw this, and instead drew this, and then I tried to draw this, and instead drew that. Interesting. So he's hitting this square, and this square, and this square, and of course my queen. So I want to move my queen in a place where it's defending. This is the only thing undefended right now. So let's go ahead and come here, because I also still want to have the possibility of maybe sacking here. I can also try and trade off the knight. That might not be a bad move. I don't know what he's going to play next. I have literally no idea. Maybe he plays h4. Huh. Not sure what the goal of that move is. I'm gonna try and trade off this knight. I don't like this knight getting all up in my business. No, he wants to get the bishop all up in my business. Is that the idea? Alrighty then. Let's trade off some pieces. After this D file opens up, I'm going to be the one controlling it, so that seems good for me. And his pawns will be doubled and blockaded. It's interesting he's thinking so long instead of recapturing. Did I miss something? Does he have an in-between move here? He does, apparently. This. If I take, his idea is that he's going to recapture and both bishops will be hanging because the pawn will be hit and this bishop is hit, but I can take this way first. I'm in his rook now. And now, oh. Do I take here or just drop the bishop back? If I take here, if I take, and then drop the bishop back, then he could play here, and my rook is hanging. That doesn't seem good. I'm just going to drop the bishop back right now. This is a very interesting game. My knight now has this pathway to the outpost. Or here too. If he takes, then I'm going to take this way, of course. And if he pushes, then I guess I'll take, and his queen gets in, and I'll deal with that if we get to it. Maybe I don't take in that case. Maybe I just push the pawn forward. I don't like giving him that pass pawn so close to my back rank, though. That just seems way too dangerous. Okay. Let's go ahead and try and get the knight here. That seems pretty vital in order to cut off the queen's influence along the d file. Okay, I'm just going to take this. And after he recaptures, I think I just recapture, right? Like I'm fine. I could even recapture with the knight if I want, to make sure that this pawn is ultra protected. I don't see anything wrong with using the bishop. Like after takes, you can't play here because I'm still... And he can't take this way because the knight is defending. And after that I could even move the bishop here and then bring this pawn up, and that bishop is just untouchable. I mean, he can trade it off, but he'll never win it. Let's take with the bishop. His bishop is hanging now too. So I think my next candidate moves are here. Taking this. So he's threatening to take here. That allows this fork. And where's his queen going to move after that? Maybe here? Here, perhaps? Let's go for the fork. Taking this is worth more, right? This is a full piece as opposed to an exchange. Wait, there's too many different variations. If I take and then he takes, let's take the bishop, the full bishop. Actually, because takes. Oh no, okay, we're fine. Let's go with the bishop. I think the most important thing here is that I just stay ahead on the clock and don't blunder anything. Too bad. Minor blunders, I think, are okay at this point. So I can play here now, and that should defend everything. I guess he can take this. But that's alright, I'm not super worried about that pawn. Let's just bring the rook back. consolidate everything. Maybe bring my queen here and try and win this pawn. I think my main goal here is to just trade down pieces, that way I don't get checkmated, and then I should just be able to win on time at this point. He's probably panicking right about now in terms of time. The queen by itself shouldn't be too dangerous. Let's offer a queen trade. No reason not to. Let's bring the rook back and give me some space, my king some space to breathe. He's just pre-moving down in panic at this point. And that should be it. Yep. Here we go. Good game. I think that was the end. Yeah, he's done.